In this episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe Rogan is joined by comedian Donnell Rawlings. The conversation covers a wide range of topics, from comedy to the entertainment industry to personal experiences. Donnell Rawlings shares his journey into comedy, revealing that he initially started as a heckler in comedy clubs. He talks about how his natural talent for heckling eventually led him to try stand-up comedy, where he found success and realized that comedy was his true calling. He touches on the idea of heckling mediocre comedians as a way to push them to improve and stand out in a competitive industry. He also emphasizes the importance of being good at what you do and focusing on honing your craft rather than seeking fame or fortune. The conversation shifts to the topic of negativity and conflict in the entertainment industry, particularly on platforms like social media. Rawlings and Rogan discuss how some individuals thrive on creating controversy and stirring up conflict to gain attention and engagement. They both agree that focusing on being good at what you do and avoiding unnecessary conflict can lead to long-term success and fulfillment. Rawlings reflects on his early days in comedy and how he always strived to be good at his craft without seeking fame or riches. He emphasizes the importance of discipline and hard work in achieving success, highlighting the need to constantly work on improving one's skills and staying focused on the goal. Rogan shares his admiration for comedians like David Tella, who have dedicated themselves to their craft and continue to evolve and excel in their performances. The conversation touches on the topic of acting and talent, with Rogan mentioning how some athletes have successfully transitioned into acting roles. They discuss former NBA player Kevin Garnett's acting role in the movie Uncut Gems. They talk about Garnett's performance as a basketball player involved in a gambling addiction storyline and how he was able to portray the character effectively. Rawlings expresses his curiosity about Garnett's acting skills and how he was able to embody the role despite his background as a professional athlete. Rawlings talks about his experience in acting, mentioning that he initially booked dramatic roles before transitioning to more comedic roles. He shares a story about auditioning for a role as a heroin addict and how he landed the part by throwing the lines away and not feeding into stereotypes. He emphasizes the importance of making decisions and taking risks in acting, even if it means deviating from the script. They discuss the challenges of acting, with Rawlings mentioning the pressure of performing in front of a small crew during a scene. Rogan highlights the importance of being mentally ill to excel in acting, as it requires a level of creativity and vulnerability. They also touch on the impact of fame on actors and the struggle of maintaining authenticity in a world where people only see the characters they portray. Rawlings and Rogan delve into the future of entertainment, particularly the influence of artificial intelligence on the industry. They discuss the rise of AI-generated content and how it could potentially replace traditional roles in Hollywood, such as agencies and talent scouts. Rawlings predicts a shift towards content creators bypassing traditional channels and directly engaging with advertisers and sponsors. They also touch on the changing landscape of comedy, with the emergence of social media comedians and the decline of traditional sitcoms and comedy movies. Rawlings reflects on the different definitions of comedy today and the varying paths to success in the industry. He highlights the importance of work ethic and talent in navigating the evolving entertainment landscape. Rawlings praises Joe Rogan for creating a comedy community in Austin, Texas, through his club, The Mothership. He commends Rogan for setting up a clear pathway for comedians to progress in their careers, from open mic nights to auditioning for door positions. Rawlings emphasizes the importance of having a supportive environment for comedians to grow and develop their craft. Rawlings shares personal anecdotes from his comedy career, including the challenges he faced during the pandemic while filming his comedy special. He recounts the difficulties of navigating COVID protocols and restrictions, which affected the audience turnout for his shows. Despite the setbacks, he persevered and successfully filmed his special with the support of Dave Chappelle and other comedians. He also reflects on the importance of wearing a suit while performing stand-up comedy, noting the classic and professional appeal it brings to the stage. Rawlings recalls the energy and confidence he felt when wearing a suit during arena shows with Rogan, highlighting the impact of attire on his performance. The discussion then moves on to the lockdowns and the effects they had on society. Rawlings reflects on the positive aspects of the lockdown, such as the appreciation for simple things and the sense of community that emerged during that time. However, he also acknowledges the negative impact on small businesses and the economy, highlighting the struggles faced by many individuals as a result of the lockdown measures. The conversation shifts to the topic of vaccines and artificial intelligence. Rawlings expresses skepticism about the vaccines and the potential side effects they may have. Rogan explains the concept of exponential increase in technology and the potential for AI to become autonomous and control itself. They discuss the implications of AI becoming sentient and the impact it could have on society, including the possibility of AI taking over certain aspects of governance. Rawlings shares his thoughts on Hollywood and the prevalence of deviant behavior in the industry. He mentions rumors of parties where individuals engage in questionable activities and expresses his belief that such behavior is more common in Hollywood than in other places. Rawlings talks about his idea of starting a church for people who mess with God but don't mess with God. He explains that he wants to create a space for individuals who may not fit into traditional religious settings but still seek spiritual guidance. They discuss the role of religion in people's lives and the importance of belief in something greater than oneself. The discussion shifts to electric cars, specifically Tesla vehicles. Rawlings expresses his interest in driving a Tesla Cybertruck and mentions the waiting list for the vehicle. They talk about the unique features of Tesla cars, such as the yoke steering wheel and the futuristic design of the Cybertruck. Rogan shares his experience with Tesla vehicles and the importance of a good sound system in cars. Rawlings opens up about his experience with co-parenting and the importance of putting the child's best interests first. He reflects on the evolution of his relationship with his son's mother and the efforts to maintain a healthy co-parenting dynamic. Rogan emphasizes the significance of effective communication and the ability to have calm disagreements without resorting to verbal abuse. The conversation takes a personal turn as Rawlings shares his struggles with handling criticism, especially online comments. He admits to reading negative comments and the impact they have on him, despite knowing it's not healthy. Rogan advises him to avoid reading comments and focus on the positive aspects of his work, such as the support from fans and fellow comedians. The discussion shifts to artificial intelligence and its potential impact on creativity and entertainment. They speculate about a future where AI could dictate strategies for improving popularity and ticket sales. Rawlings emphasizes the importance of individual creativity and unique perspectives in comedy and entertainment, suggesting that live performances and human connection will always have value. They touch upon the future of entertainment, highlighting the role of live events and sports in capturing audience attention. Rogan mentions the Apple Vision Pro, which allow users to experience augmented reality, hinting at a future where technology plays a significant role in entertainment consumption. They talk about the possibility of having giant screens in living rooms that allow users to interact with virtual environments. They discuss the immersive experiences that AI could provide, such as watching movies in 3D or playing video games. However, both express concerns about the potential dangers of AI and the increasing reliance on computer-generated content and the potential loss of human connection in media consumption. Rawlings emphasizes the importance of disconnecting from technology and reconnecting with nature. He shares his love for the woods and the simple pleasures of activities like hiking and fishing. He believes that spending time in nature is essential for maintaining a sense of balance and perspective in a world increasingly dominated by technology. The conversation shifts to the topic of animal captivity, specifically focusing on monkeys in zoos and sanctuaries. Rawlings recounts his experiences visiting a zoo and a wolf sanctuary where he observed animals in captivity. He expresses discomfort with the idea of wild predators being confined to small cages and the ethical implications of keeping animals in captivity for human entertainment. The discussion delves into a recent incident in Thailand where thousands of monkeys invaded a city, driving out tourists and businesses. Rogan and Rawlings speculate on the reasons behind the monkey invasion and the potential solutions to control the population. They consider the possibility of poisoning or relocating the monkeys to private zoos as potential solutions to address the issue. The conversation touches on the existence of private zoos owned by wealthy individuals, particularly in the Middle East. Rogan and Rawlings discuss the motivations behind owning a private zoo and the ethical considerations of keeping exotic animals in captivity for personal enjoyment. The conversation shifts to the topic of wolves potentially becoming domesticated again, similar to how they evolved into dogs. Rawlings and Rogan discuss the factors that could lead to wolves becoming more docile and eventually domesticated. They explore the idea of selective breeding and the impact of human interaction on animal behavior. The discussion takes a turn towards the Yellowstone supervolcano, a topic that sparks interest and concern. They talk about the potential catastrophic effects of a volcanic eruption at Yellowstone and the timeline of previous eruptions. They discuss the likelihood of such an event occurring and the impact it would have on the surrounding areas. The conversation briefly touches on the upcoming total eclipse and the best locations to view it. Rawlings shares his plans to be in Ohio during the eclipse and discusses the significance of the event. They speculate on the impact of the eclipse and the unique experience of witnessing such a phenomenon. Rawlings shares his experience on comedy shows, including his appearance on Kill Tony. He recounts a controversial moment on the show where he was accused of walking off stage, leading to a humorous exchange with Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe. The conversation highlights the challenges and misconceptions in the world of comedy and the importance of context in understanding comedic performances. Rawlings talks about his comedy special titled It's a New Day, streaming on Netflix. He discusses the process of filming the special and the decision to shoot it in a more intimate setting. He reflects on the feedback he received from Dave Chappelle and the experience of capturing his best performance in the moment. The podcast concludes with Rawlings reflecting on his career in comedy and the evolution of his craft. He shares his thoughts on the impact of live performances and the challenges of translating that energy into a recorded special. He expresses gratitude for the opportunities he has had in the industry and looks forward to future projects and collaborations.